Oh, they not here? Okay.
Okay, dang.
What else we doing?
It wasn't even a dang. It was just like,
Yeah. Yeah.
So
It was
what's for lunch?
You used to have a tree over there? Oh. Okay. What happened to it? Oh, all right, don't worry about it. Yeah, no problem. Welcome, guys, to Don't Get Caught Slipping podcast. I am Tay-Tay.
And I am Tam.
And I think we should always kind of reference how we got to Don't Get Caught Slipping, because I think it's such a funny name, but a very on point name for our podcast.
Yeah.
And who we are. So, two sisters, two real life sisters. We're blood sisters.
Mm-hmm.
We got the same mama and the same
daddy.
There you go. And we always have these great conversations. And through our life story, there have been moments of getting caught slipping, whether it be you didn't see the signs, or you slipped on something, or you just procrastinated and somebody else took what you was really trying to do and ran with it, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that's how we got here.
Yeah.
And if you go back to other episodes, you'll kind of learn a little more about that. But sit down and join us for a little while.
Yeah, because every day, most of the time, you're gonna get caught slipping.
Right. I think. Would you say that you get caught slipping at least once a week?
Yeah.
I think so too.
Yeah.
If you
not,
don't,
that's the least.
Right. I didn't want to go once a day, but
and it's small.
Yeah, that's
it could
true.
be real small. It could just be like you watching TV, and then all of a sudden you get up and go to the next room, and somebody else in the house come in and turn that channel. You're like, God, didn't you just see me? I just went to the bathroom. Right?
Real quick, that reminds me of when your second oldest was just about, I would say about 6, and he was watching something on TV, and he left the room, and I came in thinking that, well, nobody's in here, and I turned the channel, and he came back in. He was like, "This don't make no sense." And I was like, "Wait, why is he mad at me? Like, you're 6,
Right.
right?" But that was just that would be a story I'll never forget. But he got caught slipping. You left.
You left.
You know what I'm saying? So I didn't think anybody was in here. I thought TV was free.
You got caught slipping.
You got caught slipping. But today's topic is life after breakup, which I think is a funny title too, because life after lockup is such a big thing. So to talk about life after breakup was like, was you on lockup or
yeah.
was your relationship feeling like you was on lockdown? It's kind of the way that I'm thinking about this title. But life after breakup.
Yeah.
How do you maneuver? Like, what? I know we all go through our sad moments.
Yeah.
But how do you bounce back? Can you be friends with the person that you broke up with or broke up with you? Or was it mutual? Do you have a different outlook on how you maneuver your life after that? What happens? And there's no right or wrong unless you just go into a downward spiral and you're, harming yourself.
Yeah.
But like for me, and these are things that I feel like I can be open about. Life after the last breakup was like being in a title fight. Like me and Floyd was in there. We was rumbling.
You see, I was like, whoa.
We was in there, and he had all the defense. Everything I was swinging on, he just had
one end up.
He was blocking. But I had to really learn how to navigate myself after that, because it was a long relationship, and we were talking about marriage and possible family and all of that stuff. My family knew who he was, and everybody was, hey, where's so-and-so? Because I kept it to the vest for a minute.
Don't you love it when you do break up, though, and you might not have announced it to everyone, and then it's a couple of people, like if you have a gathering or something, where's so-and-so?
Yeah.
And you like, you see he ain't here.
Yeah. And that's exactly what happened to me, right? Yeah. Like I kept it to the vest. You knew, and our other sister, Eb, knew, but I didn't announce it to everybody else because it was in the midst of planning your wedding, which was horrible. Like, I'm
I
planning.
didn't even put two and two together.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
See, I never even really shared it because I'm like, how
No,
do
I think I
help?
knew, and I think you. But when you're saying it out loud,
Yeah.
it's more like I really like today. It just did not really dawn, but now thinking of it, it's like I do remember because there was certain ways I was feeling some kind of way.
Right, but
Softly. Yeah.
it was like I'm planning my sister's happy day.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting here dealing with this shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And it
like,
was some shit.
Yeah. And it's like, dang, I got to, okay, let me suck it up because I'm going to plan my sister's wedding to the T.
That's a good thing, right? That's a good conversation right there. Because it's like when you going through something and then some people around you might going through this happy part. That's the part of the, what's our topic again about the breakup, life after breakup?
Life after breakup.
It's like you got to deal with all of that, and then people around you, the grass is so green.
I mean, it's pretty. The pines and everything going the right way.
You ain't in my backyard with that mulch and all my flowers out there just blooming all nicely with the hanging baskets.
Listen.
Got my little pots and everything. It's looking pretty.
And it looks like it feels and looks like a cartoon. Like everything is so bright and pretty. The sun is shining, but you walking in that cloud just steady over you.
The thunderbolt like
Exactly. Your umbrella toe up, the wind is blowing, but everybody else is visual.
I can see the cartoon character with the umbrella like.
Exactly. And you just trying to hold on for dear life.
Have you seen one of those comic things with the older person or the older woman, and she's standing there with just all grumpy, mad and stuff, and then the man was like with the umbrella, and the rain just all on them thunderbolts. It's like boom, boom, boom.
Right, and that was the part of that image was I don't care how mad you are at me or whatever, I'm gonna take care of you, and I'm gonna make sure that you don't get wet,
even though you'll be up there right now.
Right, you mad at me, but whatever. Right. Yeah. So I was going through this breakup and planning your wedding and coordinating your wedding and dealing with all the things in that time, but I was trying to hold it down. Like, oh Lord, don't fall apart. And then get to the actual thank you. Yeah. Get to the actual wedding and all the family is there who knows who he is and all of this other good stuff, and nobody knows that we broke up. So, because who really liked him was like, oh, where my man at? He ain't come up. And I'm having to be like, oh, he at work, he couldn't make it. He at work, he couldn't make it. I mean, just lies. And he could have been at work. Hell, I don't know. But
all right,
it's that. And then I fell apart afterwards. I felt like it was okay to fall apart afterwards. So life after the breakup was like, life keeps going. I still got to go to work. I still got to pay these bills. I still got to be a part of this family. If you have kids, you still have to mother or father. You just can't really fall apart in certain cases, but you do have to allow yourself to be sad or angry or, whatever the case may be. And for me, was the start of therapy. Now, some people may think, oh, well, that breakup, caused you to go to therapy. And it's like, it may have caused me to go to therapy, but it was the straw that broke the camel's back. So it was everything that you may have been holding on to, or I may have been holding on to. And then I sat that straw on your back. Yeah. And for that situation, it was more than a straw, but it was like, oh my God, that's it. That's it. I ain't got no more left. Yeah. So the tumble happened. And in that case, thankfully, I don't have children. Yeah. So that fall apart was like, okay, it's just you. And it's, in the sense, I don't have to take care of anybody. Nobody's relying on me to feed them and, get them to school and do all of these other good things or being, a parent. So with anybody, I mean, we know that people have been breaking up since the dawn of time. Yeah. So in your perspective, how do you feel? And as a mother, like breakup happen, and as you have to navigate through life, you've had to, the unfortunate part of breaking up with someone and having children and still having to take care of young people.
Yeah.
Like, how do you do that? How does that work?
I think for me, because I started having children at an early age, my relationships weren't as solid, right? So my two youngest, the relationships, the first one was, I was young. I was 18. I had my first two before I was 20.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So those relationships were teenage relationships,
Mm-hmm.
right? So it wasn't difficult when it came to my last relationship with my youngest two children. It was very difficult.
Mm-hmm.
However, because we were together for a very long time, and all my children knew him
Mm-hmm.
as
A father
their,
figure.
yeah,
Or a father.
definitely.
Yeah.
So it was a difficult transition, probably for us all,
Mm-hmm.
in that state. But because of the first two, I was always in survival mode.
Mm-hmm.
So that survival mode always stayed with me during that. So I was always in that position of I needed to make sure that me and these boys are straight.
Mm-hmm.
However way that looked like. So with the mourning of relationships, it was what it was. But at the same time, because I've always been in survival mode, and the sulking part for me was not as long with my youngest two father, because we were there together. It just ended its course as it was. And because of the youngest two and we were all so close, it was more on making sure that I was able to give them what I could possibly give them at that particular time. So again, it was mindset of surviving, even though the relationship was hurtful and all of that stuff with moving on and moving forward. My main focal point was to make sure that we were good, and our good was so rock bottom to where there was no room for soaking too much, right? We started back over with what was it, a 2-bedroom apartment with 5 of us, and I lived in a loft. Or what was
That
it?
wasn't even a loft. That was a sunroom.
So
Yeah.
two kids was in one room, 2 kids was in the other room, and we did what we had to do. And the oldest two had one bed, right? It was that queen bed.
Mm-hmm.
They were
And feet to head.
yeah. And then the little two had their little bitty mini beds, and we did what we had to do to keep going forward. And I think, from that, I didn't necessarily have a relationship after the kids' father, a real relationship until my marriage. So that was years later. And then
I didn't realize that.
years later, right? So once that happened, and then with my divorce, when that finally finalized, or when I made the decision to actually do it, I think I wasn't like most people, even though, you go through those. I think it's a pattern, right? You go through the sorrow, and then the mourning part, and then being mad, and all of that. You got all those emotions. I think once I actually made the decision to do it and gave him the papers for divorce, it was just like
Breath.
everything kind of just released. So it was no sorrow for me. I didn't have no anything. I didn't even have a, when you telling your family, oh, we divorced or anything. It was just more like, yeah, I'm getting a divorce. It's just what it is. And my inner circle knew. So it was just like when you announce it to others, it was just like, yeah, I'm getting a divorce. And you see them like, dang, you what?
I think it was a dang because of you. Like, dang, I hate that for her.
Yeah.
But I don't think it was a dang because we all had a connection with him like
Yeah.
that. He was very, in the background kind of personality. So
Yeah. So for me, it wasn't sorrow. It was more for me. I was angry.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, you could have put an egg on me, boy, and that thing would have cooked in 1.1 second.
Mm-hmm.
But I was really angry, and I don't advise people, and I'm so happy we talk about it. You say it all the time as far as having someone outside of family to talk to. So I had someone that I was getting professional help with, and fortunately for me, he was our marriage counselor.
Okay.
And then it transitioned to where he was my personal counselor. And at that time, when we transitioned over into him being my personal counselor, he was able to show me and help me realize certain things about myself to where I really didn't even know.
Right.
Right. And it was like, I don't know. It was like, it was sitting in his back pocket. Like, I don't know if he saw it, but he was like, boom. Now we about to get into me and you.
Right.
Because it's on now. And literally, that's how he put that approach to me. When I told him the last time, he was, my ex was supposed to come, all this other stuff. And I was like, he's not going to be coming anymore. And explained and all this other stuff. And immediately he just closed that book and was like, boop, pow. All right. So let's talk about it.
Right.
And we went on through that whole transition, and maybe it was counseling, right? That helped me through that whole stage. And then once divorce was finalized, it was like I was delivered from a different space. And I will say, fortunately for me, with that breakup, I had a good support system.
Yeah.
Child, if y'all ain't had one, I'ma just hope y'all get one. Because when I said I had a good one, boy, my support system was and it was evident to my ex. I mean, my support system was so transparent to where people in that family saw it. And I'm saying of course, it was my sister, but my cousin. And, I share it with them, and I might have a little bit. But when I tell you, they got me through. The last couple of months, every Tuesday or Wednesday, it was like twice a week, they was at my house, and we were having dinner together. And that meant everything to me. Because it was like, they were my crutch through the week, right? And it was like my weekends were so flooded with other things with my kid, to where, of course that's going to float or fluff,
right?
Whatever I got going on mentally. But that through the week, by having them two there, it just seemed, it spoke for me to where it was, we are really big on family, but it was more like, yeah, mofo.
Yeah.
Regardless of all this stuff, because he had his own, and I called it a triangle. He had the triangle. So that triangle was just putting this energy in the home to where it was just like really, really, really impacting my whole spirit. But having my folks come in, my sister and my cousin come in that thing, it was like they was my barrier through the week. And it really helped out. It helped out in ways to where it really gave me that energy of being like, okay, this is going to be good. Regardless of whatever, I never even thought about what's going to happen financially to me, or what's going or whatever, and how this other stuff, because I've always been in survival mode.
Right. And that was never really the issue for you. It was just the balance.
Yeah.
And the energy that was being, thrown at you during that time. I mean, because you guys were outnumbered.
Yeah.
I mean, and I hate to say it like that, but, his triangle, him and his biological kids, and then you even though excuse me, you have 4 boys, all of them were out of the house except for one.
And so it was just me and that line.
Right.
Me and that line, and we was
trucking along.
We was doing what we do. We was doing what we do.
Right.
We had that line. We had that what we could do, and had that our power and energy.
Yeah.
But like you said, it was just that force. And if people don't know, certain energies can overcome a whole household, and
It is so true. It is so true. And negative seems to outweigh positive when you are outnumbered.
Oh yeah.
And I think, and this is off topic a little bit, but when my friend was going through his massage therapy classes in school, he taught me something about energy.
Yeah.
And it was like, okay, stand here and think positive. And I'm going to see if I can knock you off of your stance. Yeah. Like it was a physical and mental challenge, right? And then he said, now think positive, but maybe not as positive as you did before, maybe. And I'm going to think of nothing but negative. And let me see if I can knock you off. And he could. Like he was able to just tap me on my arm and I was able to move. And he was like, that's how, when you're going through spas and things like that, they teach you good energy. Yeah. When you're touching someone, when you're in a space. So that's why they play the music that they play and they do all the things that they do, because it's an energy that can be transferred into someone else.
Oh, so. I totally agree. And it was such a battle for us to where it was changing me. It was literally changing who, people that know us, and I say this all the time. I know people that don't know us, but our energy is so open to people, and we are, and we get this from our ancestors, right? If I got it, you got it. If I got a plate, you got a plate. We have this whole aura with no matter what, when people come into our home, they know that, hey, one thing I'm going to get is some positive energy. I'm going to get something to eat. And people are just going to unconditionally love on me because that's just who they are as people. We have people that don't even know us might come in one day and be like, you know what, I had a good time. And before we know it, they be coming over and be like, well, so-and-so ain't here. Yeah, I just came back. See how, and that's just who we are as a family, as a group, and people get that. But unfortunately with this triangle, that negative energy started changing me to where it was like, oh no, I don't want you around me, or not even around me. I did not want to provide. I'm not saying provide, but I didn't want to be the giver that I was. I was just more like, I was this mother hen over my diagonal point to where it was like, I don't have anything but this individual. And one thing I want to do is make sure that he's good and he doesn't feel all of that y'all got going on, because it's just me and him. And now it was just like I was boom. And if I did something, it was just like, it's just me and him, just me and him, or me and him. And to where, even though, because I've called them little leashes, they were like, oh, she got some extra stuff and I know she gonna get it. So I'm gonna go on and like a little and grab it. And it was to where at first it was okay, right? It was just, I ain't even gonna trip, blah, 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 all this other stuff. And then it got to the point I started seeing it for what it was. And then when I saw the little leashes, it was just like, oh no, no. I got this for this one right over here. Because you guys don't do nothing. Right. For this one over here. Right. You walk over him, around him as if he doesn't even exist. So what I got going on, it was just like, I was just, and I started becoming somebody that I wasn't. And I was like, this ain't me, but I can't help it. I can't help it. Y'all bringing back the
turn back the old me.
T-Lo. you bringing back T-Lo. T-Lo don't want to come out. T-Lo don't want to come out. She want to stay over there and hibernate for the rest of her life. She don't want to come out.
Right. And I think that contributes to the aftermath. Right? Like, I always tell people, and I know you don't date for other people like your family or even your kids and things like that, but to me it's just so important.
It is.
To know who you're bringing into your fold, especially when you have a strong background in family or support system and things like that. Like, who you bring in can make or break a situation. Yeah. So that contributes to the after breakup, where it's like, especially if people really like them. I mean, and the good part, it'll affect everybody. Like, dang, I miss old boy. You know what I mean? Like, or I miss old girl. And it's like, dang, whatever y'all had going on can really be a domino effect to everyone else. And then, of course, you know, if it's negative, it's really going to be like, now everybody else got to deal with the foolery.
Yeah.
So,
That's so true.
You know, or the backlash or whatever the case may be. And then, I mean, for you in that case, that didn't affect us. That had no rhyme or reason. Like, it came and went.
Right. And
like,
that's the important, that's the part that I think, like, that just never probably should have existed, but it did help mold me in certain ways. But it's more like you said, it was in the corner, so when they fell off, it was like,
oh, they not here? Okay.
Okay, dang.
What else we doing?
It wasn't even a dang. It was just like,
Yeah.
So what's for lunch?
You used to have a tree over there? Oh. Okay. What happened to it? Oh, all right, don't worry about it. Yeah, no problem. But when you really have, you know, somebody who was solid, or maybe not even solid, it could really go either way.
Yeah.
But I just feel like after the breakup, it could really be detrimental to you. It could be detrimental to your family. I mean, it could be a lot of things.
Yeah.
Especially if somebody goes a little crazy and God forbid, you know, they start showing up at your job or showing up at your people's house or, you know, different things like that. Like, people really have to think about those types of things. Now, if you're kind of a loner mindset and you don't, you know, have the family like that, or you don't, you know, connect with people like that, then you do what you do.
Yeah.
But I personally I don't care to bring anyone around my family if I don't feel like they will fit into that mold, because we are the type of people that we will, you bringing so-and-so around, then they got to be cool. They got to be family. So you come on in here and your mama and your kids and your sisters and your brother.
That's
and
our family, right?
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everybody. Everybody come on in here.
Yeah.
That's how we are.
Yeah.
So true. Then if they ain't about shit, then it's a whole domino effect.
And you know, and because we're so family oriented, it's like when those people don't really gel or put in, it's so funny now. I look on the outside looking in, you like, woo, they stuck out like a sore thumb, right? But although we just like, hey, go on and get that biscuit over there and then get some green beans over there in that corner and boom, 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 and we just talking and chatting, but the conversations and dialogue is just different, right? And it's like, regardless of it, if it's different, the core of them just never seem to just be like a nice blend.
Right. As much as we try to invite, as much as we try to, you know, get on a common ground, or, you know, communicate in some kind of commonality, it's like, oh, okay, you like football, I like football too. You know what I mean? It was very surface level.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it is what it is with that. It was like, hey, you loved them. We were like, all right, let's go. You know what I mean? Okay. Yeah.
Get in that seat and let's go on and get on and get on.
Right. And I still tell you the funny stories where people would whisper to me like, are you sure can't what? You know, and I'd be like, hey, that's my sister.
Yeah.
She made sense and this man is all right.
And then, you know, you do those things and kind of just reel back into what the topic is as far as the aftermath after a breakup. We know we all go through those phases of sadness and all this other things. And you know, it's how do you deal with it to move on to just get back to your own self and be productive and still be happy on the long run. So, you know, everybody has their place on the aftermath. And just for me, it was more on how did I get out of being angry? Or how did I get out of being whatever it was or so critical or in all of this other stuff? Because that's all it was for me. It was after the math. It was, how do I release the anger? And it took work. And I had to get professional help to release the anger, because that's what it was for me. Is I didn't sit in sadness or whatever, because I don't know. Only thing I could say is I think most people always look at to how that look, and that did hit me. But like I told y'all in other episodes, I take those things that do hit me and I'm like, boom. I really just slap it away, because it's like, that's a little nonsense. Or don't let that soak in. That's not going to sink. Don't let that sink in. That hit me at first, like, people going to be looking at me like, she didn't get married until she was about 40 something. And now she got a divorce in 4 years and the 4 kids and blah, 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 and all this other stuff. And of course, all of that comes to you immediately. And it did come to me immediately. Like, I got married. And one thing about me, I think that stuck so hard, was I really am the person. And you'd be like, are you? Because you got divorced. But I felt like, till death do you part. And that is what it means. And I said that before. It was like, no, one of us gonna die. If we end this marriage, one of us dying. And I don't know how the death gonna happen, but somebody got to die to get up out of this, because that's what we said. And I think that part was very hard for me, because I was like, this was supposed to be till death. And I honestly felt like, well, you stupid fool, you gonna die, all right? you gonna hold on if you want to. Die. Everything is gonna die. And I was going through the stress level. And my doctor actually told me, because I thought I was having a heart attack a couple of times. And the doctor was just like, no, you're good. Everything good. And I think after the multiple times of coming, he was like, you know what? You need to take a stress level test, because this is fine. This is fine. And I'm like, I am about to have a heart attack. Something in me is telling me I'm going to die today. And he was like, ain't nothing wrong with your vitals. I'm like, no, right now, I am going to die today. Something here. My heart is like feeling like it's shrinking. I cannot breathe. He's like, you can't breathe. I was like, literally, I can't breathe. I wake up not able to breathe. I drove from work today here because I could not breathe. And he was like, well, you fine. So let's take a stress level test.
Right.
Took the stress level test and I was in the black. He was like, whatever's you're going through, you're going to have to make some decisions. Are you seeing somebody? And I was like, yes. He was like, well, you will have stress kills, right? And I'm like, I've heard it. He was like, well, if you can't breathe today and you couldn't breathe yesterday, it's your stress level.
Right.
And what are you going to do with that?
Right.
How are you going to be able to manage that? And he told me, I can't help you with that. There's medications that will be able to help you. He was like, but you don't look like the person that want to be on medication. And he was like, and I'm just going to be honest with you. Medication only do so much. So what are you going to do? And I was like, oh, no.
But of course, I just trying to get to, a basis of where, and everybody can relate to it.
Yep.
Everybody can relate to the stresses and the downfalls and the woes is me and the this, that, and the other. But now that I'm out of that, years removed, I'm like, that transition of my life was the best thing that ever happened. Now that I look back on it, because, excuse me, yes, it was the start of therapy, but that was the start of recognizing that I like me. And I've always liked me. No matter what form, what, age, it didn't matter. What I recognize is that he had a problem with me liking me. Me, it could have been, and I noticed subtle changes. I think we talked about it before. Subtle changes in myself that I was like trying to appease him. Like if I got too dolled up it wasn't a like, hey, you look nice. It was a,
What you looking nice for?
it was not that, but it was just a little bit of a frown, or maybe a little bit of a lip turn, like a, you know what I mean? Like, And I was like, dang, was it? And we wear our nails, get our nails done, and I loved my long nails, and it was always like a, well, why do you wear those long nails? And why do you this? And why do you that? It was more of a question and a this and a that. So I found myself, okay, well, let me cut my nails down a little bit. Let me not wear my lashes, or let me not wear the bold lipstick that I like, or let me not blah, 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 because of course you always want your person to see you like, oh yeah, that's my boo right there. Yeah. She look nice.
Yeah.
And even though I loved me, it was just kind of like, well, dang. He don't necessarily say, hey, you look nice.
Yeah.
He didn't say you look bad, but it was something in the face. Excuse me. It was something in the face that I felt like I always got. And then I started to change little things and this, that, and the other. And once it was all said and done, I was like, wait a minute, I ain't got my nails done. I ain't put on no lipstick. Hold up. And as soon as I started doing all that again, it was like, oh, there she is.
Yeah.
There you are. And when you do that after a breakup, when you finally have that epiphany for whatever it is, you finally see like, oh, God dog it. Somebody turn the light on.
Yes. Girl, where you go?
Where you been?
Huh.
Child, we've been looking for you. It was like,
I hadn't been looking for you, but I'm glad you're back.
Right, I was having a mystical moment. Here I go. Somebody said that was me. Here I go. That's when I was looking in the mirror like, girl, where you been? So it was one of those things, and now it's like, I am good.
Yeah.
I am good in a space of me. Like, I want to solo travel. I do things by myself. I go to the movies. I take myself on lunch, dinner, breakfast dates. It don't matter. Yeah. I don't need anybody.
Yeah.
I need you, but I don't need you. You know what I'm saying? Like, you need your family. You need your friends. But I don't need you to go and have a good time. Right. Like, I don't pay attention to whether or not I have somebody with me to go enjoy my life, because I spent however many years in that relationship holding on, and I should have been gone a long time ago. And now I'm like, baby, I'm not finna miss out. If you can't roll, okay, I'm gonna catch you next time, but I'm finna go.
Yeah. I love the way that you said that part, as far as like, hey, you, where you been? And it speaks volumes, because you're right. For us, we grew up with that type of taking care of yourself, the nails, the hair. That's just how we were, not necessarily raised, or it was just embedded in us, because one, our mom went every 2 weeks and got her nails done. So of course you was sitting right there while she got her nails done, watching and everything. So of course you saw it, and I'm seeing it when she come home, because of course I went to another school and bus back. So y'all get back from coming from school and then getting your nails done and blah blah blah, and I'm looking like, that's a nice red. Well, even though she always got red, it was like, that's another nice shade of red.
Right.
Oh,
but it didn't fall short on you, even though you weren't, I'm young, so I had to go.
Yeah.
But it was like, all right, I'm going to go get my nails done.
However, caveat to that, it was like, Mommy, can I get my nails done? You can get your nails done when you pay for it.
Right.
But it was like, oh. And that's the part I didn't like at that time, but I can respect it and love it now, because she taught me, hey, certain things, you want it, you're going to have to get it. However, nah, Sister Kate. One, I ain't paying for no $45 nail and all this other stuff. And you rough too. You probably about to bust them things open. Do whatever you need to do. You're going to come back home with 4 nails and you got 10.
Right, you got 10.
And you got 4. Nah, you're going to have to pay for it on your own.
Right. And
I bet you value them a lot more than if I would pay for them. So it was more like, hey, oh, okay, that's fine. When I grow up though, I'm gonna give me some nails, and
Right.
I'm gonna get them done every 2 weeks like you, and they gonna be long like I want them to
Right.
be.
They're gonna
But
be
it's all
exactly
good.
how I want
I
them.
get you since the cake. It's all
Right.
good. I'm gonna keep that in the pocket. But
But and we can get all over the
yeah,
place in
yeah,
our
yeah, yeah.
conversations
Yeah.
because that's who we are. But I think to land the plane, as I like to say, it's a matter of you tapping in to yourself at the breakup. Your breakup may not have been that bad. It may have just been like, oh, it just didn't work out. And that's fine. Some people go through real heartache.
Yeah.
And that is fine. But how do you bounce back? How do you recover? So in the spirit of our podcast is how you got caught slipping to get to the breakup. Did you miss the signs? Were there flags that you saw that was pink but eventually turned red? Did you not wait for seasons? And I don't mean winter, spring, summer, fall, but seasons of a person's personalities. Did you hold off to see, let me see different shades of this person before I move forward into this relationship? All of these questions, I think we eventually learned as we got older.
Yep.
I mean, heck, my ex his mama was the one shedding light for me and like, that's my son, girl, let me tell you.
Uh-huh.
This is what you need to be looking out for. She
Yeah.
was a woman's woman, a girl's girl, as they say. So do you have people in your life that can help you navigate your life after the breakup? If you don't, find somebody.
Yeah. And one more thing for me, when you say after the breakup and all that other stuff, because of the red signs and all that other stuff, red flags, I personally believe at the end of the day, if you are not yourself 100%, that breakup is going to be a lot harder for you. If you are 100% you, pure and okay with everything that you brought to that table, you have been yourself, like you said, with the hair and the nails or whatever that is, you can sit a lot easy into that breakup knowing that, hey, I done gave my 100%, I was myself. And at the end of the day, I put myself first in whatever that space is. And yes, I don't like it, but I'm able to move on because guess what? I'm still me.
Yeah.
And you don't have that insecurity like I didn't sacrifice my own or me not getting this and I did this for you and all this other stuff. And because you weren't you completely and you sacrificed whatever that was, not being yourself completely with getting things done, or you bent over a little bit more. You said something in the last one of the podcasts about your expectations or something like that. Like I require, right? You know what you require. This is what you are looking for. And I'm not folding, so to speak. And this is me. I get my nails done. I wear makeup or I X, Y, and Z. I'm not going to stop doing this. This is just who I am. Take me for who I am. And the breakup is going to be sad, but however, you're going to be like,
Yep.
I'm good because I didn't lose any of me.
Yeah. And I'm having a moment right now in piggybacking what you're saying because it's so good that, and if we travel over a little bit, producer, forgive me, but if you don't like you, understand this. You can like you whether your hair is too thin or too thick, whether you're too light or too dark, whether you're too big or too small. You can like you.
Yeah.
Those are just things that we can actually fix. Yeah. If your hair too thin, go get a weave. Yeah. If your hair too thick, cut it. If your hair is too kinky, relax it. I don't care.
Right.
It doesn't matter. Forget what people say.
Yeah.
If you feel like your stomach's too big, we'll work out.
Yeah.
But guess what? You can still like you while you are transitioning to physically look the way you want to look. You can be that person. If you're not good with you, then everything else is going to fall apart. And the breakup is going to be harder, just like you said. But when you like you, Then when you love you, ain't nobody gonna be able to touch you. So when I tell people, whether it be a date or a friendship or whatever, I love me. I like me. I both.
Yeah.
Both of them, as they say in the
Both
South.
of them.
Both of them.
We hear that. I love it
You
when
know?
this young lady do that. Oh my goodness.
Both
That's
of 'em.
another story, but she both
Right.
of them.
Both of them. I love me and I like me. I don't care how you look at me. That's your problem.
Yeah.
But I don't, it does not matter. Anybody who's listening to us today, it does not matter. Man, woman, non-binary, however you identify, I do not care.
Mm-hmm.
Forget the physical part.
Yeah.
You can fix that.
Yeah.
But
And-
if you can internalize that, you look in the mirror and it's, I like me. I'm looking at all the cameras.
Yeah.
You can like you. I promise you, you can like you, and then you can love you. If you just tap into, I like me. Just say it to yourself.
I like me.
I like me. You can be personable and fat.
Yeah.
You can be lovable and skinny.
Yeah.
You can be all of these things, but the main denominator is within.
Yeah.
Because you can fix all of the other stuff.
Okay.
You can trim all of that.
I love it.
So
That's going to be a part 2.
right, absolutely.
Part 2. So stay tuned, everybody, for part 2. We're just going to go ahead and
We're gonna stop it here.
we're going to stop it here.
But make sure
We're going to pause. This is just a pause because we got a part 2 coming up.
Okay. So, but make sure that you follow us on all social medias.
Yep.
You can listen to our audio on Spotify. You can follow us on all social medias under Don't Get Caught Slipping Podcast, Slipping SLIPPIN,
Yep.
no G. And that's it.
All right.
See y'all later.
Peace.